Hey girl, hey, welcome back to the Slay Girl Slay podcast. I hope all of your weeks are off to an amazing start. I hope all of you had a great weekend this weekend. I had a great weekend this weekend. I went to see Crazy Rich Asians this weekend, which was really, really good. It was hilarious. Not sure if you guys have read the book or saw the movie yet, but it was amazing. So you guys should go see it. And then I got a new microphone this weekend. So I'm not sure if you guys can hear the difference. I can 100% hear the difference, but I love this microphone. The first one that I was using was just this $20 microphone I found on Amazon when I didn't know what I was doing. So glad for the upgrade. Thankful for the upgrade. I hope you guys can hear the difference. If you guys can't hear the difference, that's actually really good for me. That's a plus. So I'm actually hoping you don't hear the difference and that it all sounds good in the hood for you. But anyway, just wanted to hop on this week and have our weekly girl chat so we can get our weeks off on the right foot. And this episode was birthed out of a tumultuous week for me last week, and I'm being a little over dramatic, but it was just a rough week. I had a lot going on personally. It was also the time of the month for me, which I don't know about y'all, but PMS is so real. And I just feel like my emotions are just at an all-time high, and my mood can change at any time of the day at the drop of a dime. And as I'm getting older, I'm becoming more and more aware of my body and the changes it's making. That's neither here nor there, but if you are familiar with PMS, you already know where my frame of mind was at the time. I have been reading a ton of books lately, and as you guys know, I'm a really big fan of Myleik Teele, and in one of her podcast episodes years ago, because girlfriend's been in the game for a while, she said how she used to read fiction books, and obviously she was not getting anything from those books that would advance her in her life or teach her anything. So I've kind of adopted that same concept and have just been trying to immerse myself in books from authors that I admire, or books that will help me gather my inner self and teach me a thing or two about life and the journey that I'm on currently. And I just picked up this book by Jacqueline Johnson. Jacqueline created Create and Cultivate. Not sure if you guys knew that, but she just came out with her first book, and it has been full of so many gems that us girl bosses could 100% benefit from. She's just so open and honest with her journey from being in the corporate space to transitioning to entrepreneurship. And just within the first few chapters, my mind was completely blown by what she's gone through. The name of the book is called Work Party. This is not a sponsored ad whatsoever, but just really have been enjoying this book. And in the midst of all these growing pains Jacqueline had to endure, she is now completely killing it with Create and Cultivate. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Create and Cultivate, but if not, you guys should Google it. Find them on Instagram. They just are just a resource for those of you that are out in the workforce and just totally trying to kill it in your careers. Jacqueline is a total girl boss that I admire, but it made me think about all the little steps she had to take to get to where she is today, and all the little steps all the women we admire or fashion ourselves to be like one day had to take at one point in time. That often we get to sit front row, right, and witness the fruits that they are now bearing and the seeds that they've sown now flourishing, but we never really get to see the ugly part. And I don't know if this was my PMS last week that was making me feel this way, but I was in a state of just overwhelm. I am constantly looking at the journey ahead of me. And I was just in that space of, how am I going to get there? And just feeling like where I was currently wasn't the right place to be. And this conversation can totally be twofold, but there is one side of things where we can't judge or have jealousy in our hearts for another woman's success because we don't know what she went through to get that success, which we already know because we've already been been talking about that and been down that road before together. But then there is this other side where you want to be successful like that, and you want your life to be a certain way, and you know that you're going to be successful, but you are still in the process of taking those small steps to get there. You are still at the drawing board, dreaming up things, putting together visions, trying to figure out how to gain resources. And right now you're thinking, how the hell am I going to get there? And our human nature easily looks at someone else who is already where we want to be. And then we look at ourselves and we compare our level 5s to someone else's level 26. And we just don't know how we can ever get to level 26 and what steps we need to take to get there. And I know this for a 100% fact because this is where I am. I am constantly thinking of the road ahead of me instead of looking around me and knowing and trusting that I am in the exact place I need to be in the moment and at this time. Looking back, actually, when I graduated from high school, I went to community college, my first year of college, to get all of my gen eds done before I went away to school, just to cut down the cost of how much it was going to be because I couldn't pay for school. And I remember watching all of my friends have these amazing trunk parties. For those of you that don't know what a trunk party is, that's a farewell party for someone going off to college. And usually they are showered with either money, gift cards, or items they need for living away at school. Believe it or not, y'all, a lot of people don't know what a trunk party is, which I find that mind-blowing. But yes, that is a trunk party. But I watched so many of my friends, actually all of my friends, go away to school, and I had to stay back and go to community college. I remember catching the bus to college one day and looking at all the strangers on the bus, some asleep, some with babies on their laps, some on their way to work, and just life was surrounding me, right? And I remember thinking about my friends and how they were off having so much fun in school and going to frat parties and, pledging. And here I was going to school full time and then catching 2 buses to get to my part-time job, which was about an hour away from where I lived. And at that time, I had no idea how my current life, my present day, was going to add up to what I had envisioned for myself at the time, which was be this, big boss woman with a degree and living her best life, going to, all these parties and eating out at the finest restaurants, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what I failed to realize at the time, which is what I'm constantly forgetting about in this present day today, was that I was exactly where I needed to be in that moment, in that day, and in that time. God had me in that moment because other things had to be moved around to make room for where I was trying to go. You feel me? And although I did not have the answers, I didn't have a manual, I didn't have a table of contents to know what was coming next or what I had to do next. But what I did know and what I do know now is that if I didn't go through that stage of my life, if I was not present in that moment, I would not be here with you today. If I didn't have to watch my friends party it up and live their best lives on campus all the time while I was at home or, standing at the bus stop waiting to catch 2 buses to get to work to pay for school at the time, I would not be flying across the country or doing what I love to do every single day. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment, and you lack nothing. You are not missing out on anything, and your portion has been set aside for you. It is so easy for all of us, myself included, to just log onto Instagram or Facebook and see someone else's highlight reel, because that's what it is. It's a highlight reel, and watch their Instagram stories and watch and see how successful they are and look at our current situations and get depressed because we don't think we add up, or, we don't think we have what it takes to get to where we want to go. But I promise you that you are exactly where you need to be in this exact time. You need to be there. It may not be the greatest time, right? It may not be a fruitful time, but it is the time that you need to be in because that is where you are. Now, don't get me confused, because you should be constantly working to get yourself to where you want to go. But the moment you start feeling inadequate or overwhelmed because you are not already there, you need to nip it in the bud. You are not there yet because you are not ready. You are not there yet because you still have things to learn. You still have people to meet, some paths to cross, some things to take place before you get there, and you cannot rush the process. And the sooner you realize that and accept that, the better. When I decided I wanted to move across the country, I put all of my efforts into moving and trying to find a job on the West Coast. It took 2 full years, you guys, of me grinding it out, applying for jobs, looking at apartments, watching everyone else around me get blessed before I got my blessing to go. And when I went away to school and got that degree, I needed a job so that I could become that boss woman I envisioned myself being. And since I finally got the chance to go away to school and graduate, I didn't have a job lined up right away for me. So I struggled. It took me 1 full year after graduating college before finding a job. And that job wasn't even remotely in the same field of what I got my degree in. So what I'm saying is, and I'm saying this to myself also, you are exactly where you need to be today. You have to live in this moment. You have to live in this space right now in order to get that blessing you've been praying for. We also get so wrapped up into just thinking about what God is doing for us that we don't think about what He's possibly doing for other people. And maybe, just maybe, there are some people that will enter your life to teach you a lesson, to put you into a position, to open some doors for you. But God has to do some moving and shaking on their end first in order to put you in motion so that you can get what you need. So it's not overnight, sis. This is not a race. It's a marathon. This is a long run. Shut the apps down. And you know what? Actually, I encourage you, the first hour to 2 hours every morning, not check social media. Don't roll over, open up Instagram or Facebook to see what you missed overnight, because I guarantee you didn't miss anything. And I've been doing this the past month or so, and it has been amazing. For me to have, most of my business on social media, and the first thing I would do was just wake up and open up an app, open up social media, open up Facebook or whatever. It was really, detrimental to my day thereafter. Give yourself 1 or 2 hours every morning for at least the next week. Try it for a week and see how you feel. Use those 2 hours to get yourself ready for work, get your families together, be present with the people around you, spend some alone time with yourself, prioritize what you need to do for the day, for work, or for your business. Do it without receiving the content from what someone else is putting out, at that very moment. You open your eyes and letting it determine the type of day you will have. Imagine waking up, feeling energized, ready to hit the road, and you feel inspired to create that morning. You have all these ideas flowing through your head. Your heart is in a good space. And before your feet touch the ground, you open up Instagram, and the first thing that pops up is, Kiki. And she's flying across the country. Hair is laid, lashes popping. Her outfit always looks good. She has this really successful life, and she's always on the go. And she's the type of woman that you want to be one day. And instantly, all that good you was just feeling before you logged on is now gone because your spark dimmed a little bit. And it didn't dim because you were jealous. It dimmed because you are still taking the small steps. You are still trying to figure it out, and you just don't have the answers right now. So watching Kiki is doing more harm than it is actually inspiring you. Let me be the first to tell you, Instagram and Facebook has a mute button. Don't be afraid to use it. You don't have to mute or unfriend someone just because you have drama with them or you don't want them to see your business or whatever took place. Sometimes you just got to mute the people you find yourself stalking every day because you want to be like them so bad and you want success like theirs so bad, but you're spending too much time watching and not doing. Not taking the small steps you need to be taking right now, just watching and waiting and trying to figure out what you got to do to get there. I am guilty too, boo. I was literally having this conversation with my mom after reading Jacqueline Johnson's book because I'm so inspired sometimes and I can see the dreams and visions. I have so much that I can almost taste it. But I'm still taking the small steps. I'm still trying to figure it all out and wondering how I'm going to get there too. But one thing I know, is that it will happen and I will get there and you will get there. From taking those 2 buses I used to take to walking across that stage with my degree, from crying in my room trying to figure out how I was going to pay for my bills after college because I had literally $26 to my name, to working at one of the top places to work for in the country. It will happen. You are exactly where you need to be, boo. In your room, driving your car, raising your family, cooking dinner right now. You are exactly in the spot God wants you to be in. And while you are there, take the small steps. Shut off social media in the mornings. Make decisions. Make your moves. Learn, read, push yourself, create the vision, stay focused. Take the small steps because those small steps become big steps. And before you know it, you'll look around and see that you've arrived. And everyone else will bear witness to all the seeds you've sown. All right, you guys, that wraps us up for this week. I would much appreciate it if you guys would leave a comment in the comment section with your thoughts on the Slay Girl Slay podcast, and even more if you would subscribe. Send me an email with any topics or feedback on today's podcast, and you can always find us on Instagram and Facebook at Slay Girl Slay, or come visit us on our website at www.slaygirlslay.com. Until next week, we will chat soon. Peace.